What's going on, guys? I have a little bit of a unique video for you today. I took a client of mine through an in-person, essentially, postural assessment and in-person workout, essentially working on some different muscular imbalances and postural deviations that he had. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's very raw, it's a little bit long, but if you have some of the same postural deviations that he did, have some of the same tightness, which to be quite honest with you are very, very common, which is the reason why we put that video together, definitely check it out and let me know what you thought about it. Today we were going to take my client Marco through actually like a fitness assessment workout. Usually I train my clients online, and while online has a lot of benefits because I can focus on the macro level of coaching your habits over time and focusing on those where the 90% of results come. With that being said though, there's a lot in person that I can do with you that I can really see a lot faster than if we were training online, and so we're going to take advantage of that right now because Marco's in some time. Sure, let's do it. Awesome. So what we're actually going to start with is a quick assessment. I kind of just want to see how Marco's basic posture is, his basic mechanics, the way that he stands, stuff like that. So what we're going to do is attach this little thing right here. And essentially this is just going to be our straight line. This is just going to be like, act like trying to go straight to gravity. We're just going to compare the way Marco stands to that straight line. You're going to stand up against it.
Well, stand up against it.
Yes, sir.
Got you. Okay.
All right. Why don't you go on the other side of it this way? Turn around.
Turn around.
Yeah. I want to see where your spine is against it. And take up your hat for me. All right, walk forward. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Keep going, go. Keep trying to get the rope really slack. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to take you over here anyway to see it. Yeah. Okay. So, we'll try to compare this line to essentially Marco Center. And from here, you might notice a couple of different things. So first of all, we seem to have a little bit of elevation on this foot right here. I don't know if you guys can shoot on the video, but I'm going to try to take you a little bit closer. Go ahead and take your shoes off when you want to go. Alright, so normal. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that a little bit better. Yeah. A little bit of twisting going up to this side, and then from here, it seems like this shoulder is a little bit lower than this one. So that just tells me a couple of things as a personal trainer. Next thing I want you to do is come in front of it. Come around. There you go. And you can just step to the side of it.
Step to the side.
Like right here.
Okay.
Yeah. This also helps. So remember, we want a good straight curvature through all parts of the spine and so forth. So for Marco, we see a slight deviation in the neck right here. We were talking about tucking your chin before. First right, there we go. What that does, kind of see that he has a little bit of a curve in this thoracic right here. We could probably have him stand up straighter. And eliminate some of that, and already you can see his hips kind of line up better. So those are some small adjustments that we can make just to the way that he's standing, but that just tells us about his habits, right? What he's prone to do if he just sits naturally, but right, not flex or anything like that. We were just gonna have him work on those posterior muscles today a little bit to have him sitting back nicely with his shoulders back without him having to think about it. Some ideas on stuff that we want to work on today. Do you have anything that's been bothering you, first of all? Pain?
Shoulder.
Shoulder pain? Specific side?
No, not specific to so much. Mainly, actually, just some back issues.
Back issues?
That typically comes whenever or some shoulder issues right here. Whenever I play too much video games.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then some more back pain, whatever.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, a couple of things right there. Just to address what typically happens for people when they play video games and stuff like that, and when they get excited and they're like, rolling, like everything, the traps take over and you end up punching forward a little bit, so this will get really tired.
Yeah.
These are not really good at like staying, like, what's the word, at attention.
Static. Or,
Yeah, right, at attention, like,
Mhm.
like
At
or like,
attention is
or whatever you want to call it, like the abs and the glutes, something that fires for long periods of time that work on stabilizing, rather than something that's used like, honestly, quite frankly, the trap's function is to stabilize and hold the entire shoulder blade in place. So we're lifting super, super heavy things off the ground like a deadlift, like think of like a 400-pound deadlift. The traps are essentially there to keep the shoulder in place.
Right.
They're not really there to kind of slowly arch and be statically held all the time. They get really stiff from that. They're not good at that. So what we want to do for you is a couple of
I
things.
also should mention, I mentioned you were talking about imbalance. Walgreens, where I work, there's the phones that we use, there's a little, I actually don't know what you call them, but we consistently do this throughout the entire day.
Makes sense. Okay. Just some habitual stuff. Remember, lifestyle. You're always going to adopt the pattern that you take on. This is why baseball players have injuries, right? Because oftentimes the patterns that they replicate are one-sided. So the body starts twisting and twisting and twisting over time, and then that injury is going to result in a blown-out shoulder. You know what I mean? It's going to give somewhere that rotation, and so we just want to correct lifestyle things like that as much as possible. Honestly, you can build most of it out. You just want to make sure that you remember that you're relaxing, right? I don't really want to tell you if there's a right way to do this exercise. I guess you could hold it like this as long as you're.
What do you think about mirroring on the other side or practicing getting used to it here?
Yeah, switching back and forth is a good practice.
Okay.
That's not a bad one. Just going back and forth, just so it doesn't become like chronic.
Right.
That's the only thing we would really want to avoid with any of those habitual movements. I do have a quick test for you if you're up for it.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really good indication of what we want to focus on. Whether it be strength or stability, opposing to flexibility, right? So are we going for, or what is your particular nerve dysfunction? Are you too weak, or is it that the muscles that are trying to fire are too tight? You know what I mean? Which issue is it? So
Lovely.
yeah, it's a nice test, because it's hard to know which area is not going right. So what I want you to do is essentially you lay on the yoga mat. Well, this way. Put your toes into the ground. I picked up this tip from Elliot Holtz, by the way. Right little shoulder hack. You want to see where you're lying. So here, put your toes into the ground, band overhead. Try to get some slack and distance in it so you can just kind of feel comfortable. And then I want you to try to lift your rib cage off the ground, right? Like you're doing that Superman exercise. And then try to come all the way back.
Jesus. Absolutely.
Absolutely, he says. Yeah, that feels nice. We will see, sir.
Okay. Are you ready to
Yeah.
start right now?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Get your arms a little bit further apart. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, a little bit more. There you go. Nice.
Okay. And then we just go ahead.
Whatever you're ready. Nice. Pretty good. Try to relax your neck. There you go. Can you bring it all the way to your butt? There you go. Can you bring it all the way back up smoothly? Try not to crunch too much. Just slowly and smoothly. Nice. That was actually great, man. I've seen very, very few people complete it. Actually, on the first time. Most people get. Yeah.
Well, whenever you showed me that video, the first time, with I think another one of your friends, I kept on trying it, and I probably did it over the course of like maybe 3 or 4 different days.
Nice.
And I used a bathtub pole.
Nice.
The first few times though, right here kept on like cramping.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but
Have you actually found that you feel better in your shoulders after that?
I do.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because they're still kind of like it's still early on to say, but I do feel a little bit more comfortable in the shoulders.
That's interesting. Yeah, those are your deep trap muscles. and really important when you get, you're not going to get it unless you get to that deep overhead position, where if you stretch your shoulder blades all the way far behind, which most people never do. Right? Maybe this year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, that's also best actually.
I appreciate it.
So we could look at a couple of things today. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of options. Sure. We could do a quick workout to open up your shoulders and open up those muscles in your traps if you want. You'll feel pretty interesting afterwards, so that might be fun. Or we could do some more corrective stuff. We could work on opening up maybe your hips, your ankles, something like that.
Probably corrective stuff.
Corrective?
I love corrective stuff.
Okay, let's do it. Do you want to do a little bit lower body?
Sure.
Do you have any other issues on your upper body?
None that I can think of.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, Laura, you were dancing too, so imagine you probably have a lot of strength. We probably have like a couple of things that are like maybe not firing right. You probably like, do you have something that troubles you consistently?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly like precision or like weight distribution.
Okay.
Sometimes it feels like,
Oh.
and that I know can be an issue if you're doing squats or stuff like
Okay,
that.
do me a quick favor. Take off your socks for me. Take it. No. Keep it off for me. I want you to have a hard start. Sure. Because essentially what we're going to do for you right now is work on. Don't know who's in a rush on coronavirus, but anyway.
True.
Yeah, right? Bro, they accelerate here all the time. Pisses me off. There's one guy I was like, we're all home. Honestly, we're home. What are you doing? Anyway, but I want to just draw attention to one thing really quickly. And this is probably going to be one of the reasons that you feel that instability, but it also just has to do with your entire physiology as a whole.
Okay.
And that is your feet, actually. So, number one, you are somebody that stays on your feet all day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You walk around a lot.
Yeah.
And two, you just have a very common deviation that many people have, and that's just inwardly turned ankles, or pretty much just no arch in the bottom of your foot. Do me a favor, do 1 foot forward like this, 1 foot back at the side, so people can kind of see the difference. And you can face that way too. That way they can see the whole body, So try to see an arch in the middle of your foot. Right. And so what you'll notice from Marco is put all your weight in the front foot. There you go. What you'll see for him is his ankle wants to go inside, and there's no arch when he's distributing his weight fully on that foot, right? It's kind of like a flat foot issue, and then his ankle wants to come out a little bit. And the reason that we know that his ankle is coming out is if we have something like perfectly cut, somehow, cardboard piece like this, that we can have, do me a favor, face this way, face inside. Fly that keeps it going. Anyway, but, right, looking at your ankle now, put your weight on your front foot again.
The weight on the front foot?
Yeah.
This one?
Alright, perfect. There we go. And then we can see here, from where his foot comes up, doesn't touch the ankle. I don't know if you guys can see that little piece of cardboard, but it's not touching his ankle. While on this side, and if I try to get it in there, it would touch his ankle, but it wouldn't touch the bottom. So what that tells us, it's not straight from the foot to the ankle bone. There should ideally be an equal distribution, right? So it's flush with the ankle. I'm trying to do it on myself and do it at the same time, but you get the idea. The bone should be on top of the foot so that it's not absolutely cortical inside. And what we'll see for you, like face me again really quick, what ends up happening onto your, keep your feet centered. There you go, perfect. Put your foot normally, awesome. What will happen, since the ankles are inwardly turned and that arch has been eliminated, right? The ankles go inside, inversion, and then the shins correspond, and then the knees correspond as well. So we find that the knees oftentimes follow that trend, come inside. What you have is a tightening of all the muscles in your pelvis, your low back. You told me a little bit earlier about low back pain.
Yeah.
Right, so low back pain, and just general inability to access the full range of mobility in your hips. See, when your ankles are inwardly turned like this, you can't fully extend your hips actually. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want you to do a real quick favor for me. So we're going to do a couple of things.
Sure.
Like I said before, or like I always say, It is stretching and strengthening. So we don't just want to be strong, we also need to be stable, and we also need to be flexible. So tomorrow, what we're going to do first, real quick exercise you can do. If you find that you don't have any arch in your feet, get a full roller. And all I want you to do is stand on here. You can hold on to the garage. Do not slash your hands, please. So you can hold on to here. You can hold on to here.
Wow, this is useful.
It is useful. Wow, I love that thing. Perfect. There we go. And so now Marco is just kind of foam rolling his feet. It's always a good idea. And we're just trying to get the muscles on the bottom of the arch of his foot opened up a little bit. All right, I want you to keep all your weight in the arch of your foot. There you go. Just let it sit there. And now I want you to try to think that your heels and your toes are wrapping around the foot roller. Like just let it, yeah, like butter. Roll a little bit forward so it goes in your, there you go. There you go. I know that might be uncomfortable. Just try to hold it there and breathe. Just relax. See how this angle is a little bit more inwardly turned than this one?
Mm-hmm.
I want that one to be like this one. See how you're using all the muscles on that foot and it's like spread, while this one is all going on that ankle? That makes sense?
Yeah, I see.
There you go, there you go. You're doing it. Nice. Nice. Now you're using those muscles a little bit more in your foot. Does that make sense? Do you feel it?
Yeah.
For sure you will. You're probably lighting up right now. Yep, yep. Do me a favor, roll a little bit further. There you go. Just relax. Awesome. Awesome. Just wiggle your toes, feel it out. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Most of us wear shoes all day that are really, really tight, and they create an artificial arch, and they take away the foot muscles, like especially if you stand all day. So usually those people go for shoes like the ones you're wearing that have a good arch support, like the Nikes, right? They have the arch built in already, and then over time, those muscles that would normally hold your arch up get atrophied and they just shut off.
Okay.
And then so you get postural deviation. So these muscles, instead of you sitting on your muscles and everything being held up nicely with equal distribution, you're putting all your weight on one joint and one ligament,
So ankles.
the ankles, and then everything concaves because of it. And you know what I mean? Like I was saying before, it has to give somewhere. So then your hips end up just having a lack of mobility. And honestly, it impacts your shoulders as well. It impacts the whole entire rest of your physiology. Remember, your head is communicating to your feet.
Yeah.
Your feet is communicating to your head about what's going on the ground. So there's a two-way relationship. And if they're not synced up or not communicating well, or if there's a disconnect, you're going to definitely feel it. But you can go ahead and get off now.
Okay.
And just tell me how you feel. A little bit better?
I feel a little bit more of an arch.
Yeah, you definitely do. Your feet are sitting better already. I don't know if you can see, but his arch is kind of returned. The return of the arch. He's kind of got it back a little bit. It's naturally just kind of reforms a little bit. Those muscles usually, they just need a little waking up. That's what I find. You might find for you, if it's a little bit more chronic, you might have to go through more processes like you saw here with a physical therapist or somebody that knows what they're doing. I would recommend. But yeah, you feel kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
You would do me a favor and do a squat. We could have done a squat before. That would have been actually kind of interesting. But just do a normal squat for me.
Forward this way or this way?
You can just squat down like that. Awesome. Try it again. Awesome. Do it one more time. Now that every joint in your body's popped. Alright, let's talk about. Oh, no. It's a GoPro. It's meant to take. Okay. A couple things I noticed for you. Well, remember when we squat, we have two major muscle groups, first of all. We have our glutes and we have our quads. So usually for people, their knees aren't working right, you can think about it like that, or you can think their hips aren't working right from a basic premise. So their feet can't be working right, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
From a basic perspective, first of all, what I saw from you was just timing-wise, like squat again. Okay, awesome. So in the beginning of the movement, you tend to be quite quad dominant, and then as the movement progresses, you tend to be a little bit more hip dominant.
Mm.
So all that means is that I want you to try to think that you're using both together. So don't think that you're going down and then back. I just want, right?
Lovely.
A little bit. Try that.
Give me a couple of chances to try this out.
Do me a favor and tuck your chin as well. You'll have an easier time doing so. There we go. Okay.
Oof. I still feel like it's misaligned.
Misaligned?
Like the timing.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. You see, when you have that moment where your quads are trying to take over and then your hips take over,
Yeah.
you'll have that moment where your spine's not normal stable anymore. So that's going to be the moment where you can't lift that weight on squats anymore. You know what I mean? When you're trying to go for your PR, and that's your limit. That's your threshold right there. At that moment, you can't lift the weight anymore. So you fall. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I really like this, where you can. I've never thought of aligning both the hips and the quads to work at the same time.
Just also with your weight distribution as a dancer, you want everything to land soft, right? You don't want to land like. I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they say landing like a cat, but you've also seen NBA players land super hard, right? So it's like which one's right. As long as we're having equal distribution, you'll be good, right? You don't want one stiff joint to get all. That's what you don't want, right?
So don't go hopping around on one foot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be most of your joint stuff. Already you can kind of see your arches. Those muscles are getting tired. You know what I mean? They're not used to it. So I would just walk barefoot first of all as much as you can. That'll help a lot. That'll help tremendously. Squat again for me. Okay, also, the other thing I noticed is your knees seem to be a little bit unstable, and that just has to do with your feet. Like I was saying before, what I was going to get to is because of that medial rotation or internal rotation of your ankles, you're having a lack of, you know what I mean? Your knees are trying to get a little shaky because they actually don't have any room. They're moving against themselves. So what I want you to do is turn your feet out more. There you go. Get your feet wider. Wider. All right, there you go. All right, try to create a little arch for me in your feet. There you go. Nice. All right, now swell. Okay, that's a bit better.
Yeah,
Knees
that
feel
felt
better?
a lot better on my
Yeah.
knees.
So first of all, you have long limbs at a relatively short, like you have long legs in the upper body.
Yeah.
For people like that, I do too. I recommend you focus on sumo stance.
So
It's
this
just-
is sumo stance.
Sumo stance, and dude, what you're gonna find is with the sumo stance, first of all, I want you to think that you have kinetic chains running up the entire inside of your leg. So we've already talked about the arch of the inside of your foot. Those muscles don't stop there. They keep going. They stabilize your knee from this side. See, what you have right now is something, your knee looks like this. This goes to here. It stabilizes the knee from this angle. So if this arch isn't working right, this knee is not going to be stabilized from the side, right? And it keeps going up to access the full range of mobility and open up your hips. So first of all, sumo stance is automatically going to make you be able to stabilize this more, right off the bat. But even more than that, I think it'll just put you at a better mechanical advantage. You know what I mean? You won't be fighting against yourself, trying to stabilize muscles that don't want to be stabilized. But it's like me trying to do super close stance squats. I can do them, but they just put my spine. I have really long fingers, right? It just puts me at a mechanical disadvantage when I try to do them.
You do have long fingers.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this. I really like this, how it felt on my knees versus the last time.
Yeah.
It felt like I was kind of like my knees were having to do this, where it was kind of forced into a certain pattern
Exactly. Yeah.
versus being able to just let the
Yes.
go bend.
Yes.
Which is very interesting.
Definitely.
That was really awesome. I really like that tip.
But see, remember, you can carry that actually. So take those same muscles and you can use them on your close stance squats too. And then your knees will have more room. So just try to think of outwardly rotating your knees when you do so. Yeah, see now your arches are engaged. Yeah, you see now we're seeing your ankle mobility come in. Your
Absolutely.
heel wants to come off the ground. And that, see, like one thing gives, and so right now your knees have been taking more of the torque than your ankle. Your ankle's been actually capable of more, but that one hasn't been firing. So it's not been taking the full load, so your knees have been taking the instead. So you can stretch those out. Quick stretch you can do, I promise you, you'll feel 10 times, you'll be able to get in the squat like 10 times easier. Is this one right here? Chill out, really let your foot open up.
And we're stretching the calves and the ankles.
Yes, sir, right here. You can come over here where it's clear. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It'd be nice if I was in the shot too, right, guys? Definitely. Where is he at? Where is? Okay. Awesome. Put your hips forward for me. Just push it in. Put your front foot forward more. Nice. One more. There you go. Sorry about that. Here, why do you do it against this? Really solid. I need to get carpet tape for these. They keep sliding.
It's okay. It's okay. Where do you want me facing?
You can just put your hands one here, one on that side. Try to get your back heel on the floor. So if you can, yeah, perfect. Yeah. That'll be the one that's heavy. You can try to square it a little bit for me. I'm gonna mess with you if you don't mind. Sure. Here, I want you to relax this foot for a second. Just relax it. Bring it off the ground. There you go. Here, there you go. Now bring it back down. Yeah, that's gonna be tough for you, bro. Here's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's gonna be real tough. Bring that foot more closer to you, actually. Yeah. More. There you go. I want you to be square. Now try it again. Yeah. Down. There you. Can you do a little bit more?
Yeah, a little bit further down.
No, I mean like bring the back of your heel down.
Okay.
There you go. Grab it. Wow. There it is. That's square, by the way. Now your ankle's square. A little bit more square, please. Over here. Like, you just think straight line, right? From the middle of your.
That's a good way to think about it. As if it were all.
Yeah, one line, bro. One line. Symmetry in the body. The body works on geometry, just like everything else in the universe. It has to obey by like certain biomechanical laws. You know what I mean? Just think about one line going up between your big toe and your second toe, all the way up through here. There should be a line with your ankles, knees, and hips, all straight. And that's what will lead to the best result. Yep. Best stretch and strongest kinetic chain. That's what powerlifters really have to think about when they lift.
Yeah.
If that kinetic chain can be strong, this kinetic chain through here, that's what's going to go.
And see, like, I really, you outlining it, I really do feel like I've used that kinetic chain before, literally.
You've used it and you just haven't.
I can
known it.
visualizing it helps it is what
It
it's.
does, for sure. Your ankles look better already. They look full of blood for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You'll feel that for sure, man. Most of our feet are quite dead, I'll be honest with you. Even just putting them in the sun for a while. I mean, most of them shoes and socks on it. It's just a fact of the matter. If you really want to feel like a human being, I got a stretch for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love feeling like a human being. Let's do it. I love stretches.
What I want you to do is get into a squat, but like against the wall, with your butt against the wall, as awkward as it may be, to get your butt against the wall. Just be comfortable. Try to get it up there as close as you can. Spread your feet. You're going to feel it in this muscle right here, which is likely quite tight in you. And also the upper, it's one level above the muscle we were just focusing on in the ankles, right? So this is the next thing that's going to be tight for you, I suspect. Next thing after that will be the hip flexors, which we will work on. But first, just work on stretching these apart.
Okay.
Let's get you closer to the action. Boys and girls at home. Okay. How's life, Marco?
Fuck!
That's not what you want.
Here, just go.
I screwed up the knot. It's okay. I'm doing the carpet tape. There we go. Okay, it's fine. You just relax, bro. You're good. Alright. Nice. Alright, I want you to turn your toes in towards each other. Nice. A little bit more from the other side.
Holy sh! Dang.
Yep. Yep. That's gonna start hurting. Hey? You're probably flexible, to be quite honest with you.
It's the dancing stretches we have to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of I do feel with my I completely understand like
or at least I'm familiar with these being turned inwards, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's super interesting.
You can mess around with your toes, like in, out, and you'll feel those muscles getting looser. That's a great way to first and stretch. Nice. And you can, the rotation goes even further than that. You can even, yeah, like over
Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yep.
This one I think is the tightest.
That's the tightest for most people typically. Yeah.
That's really tight.
We'll work on that one a little bit later, so you don't have to isolate that one right now.
Sure.
Yeah, you'll be able to get a little bit deeper with your hips. But you're quite flexible in your glutes and hips, man. You should be able to kick high as fuck, huh?
I don't know. I don't kick when I dance. Sorry, keep talking. I know what I'm talking about.
No, you're good.
Fuck, dude.
Wow, man. You could probably get further than that starts than me. Actually, definitely, 100%. All right. You want something that's gonna be like, oh God, yes, Lord, help me.
Yes.
All right, bend your knees. Better, better. Bring one on side. There you go. Against the wall still. Against the wall still.
Okay.
Out apart. There you go. Over here. A little bit towards you. There you go. Now push them into the wall. Nice. And how does that feel?
That feels interesting.
I want you to rotate your ankles again inside. In more. There we go. Knees out. Then you can bring your whole foot out with the knees. There you go. And you can bring your heels to follow.
Bring my heels to follow.
Yeah. There you go. I don't know if my cues make sense sometimes, but sometimes, somehow they work. I don't know. I really think I'm reversing.
I think the only one is when you say ankles, you mean like this part. So I don't know how you would.
I don't know what to refer to that.
Unless you got like X, Y, and Z axis in here.
That's true.
That's funny.
That's funny. Including a third dimension. How's that though?
This is
Interesting.
yeah,
Again.
very very different.
You can get up whenever you want. You're actually in the full position now.
Dude, it feels great. It feels like I'm in a sauna, except my legs.
Yep. Yep. It's like yoga for your
Yeah.
Yoga legs, man. They'll get ya.
Dude, this is really great. I've always felt this is so tight. It's just,
Yeah. You just don't know how to stretch it. You know what I mean?
yes.
You're just like which part though? There's so many muscles. It's so hard to isolate which part is like feeling tight and stuff. At least to me when I was young, I just felt so overwhelmed.
No, that's how it was with me. Very overwhelmed. Too much to know. Too much to.
I find from like actually having to memorize most of them for my job,
Yeah,
the best way to do it is function.
Function.
If you can drive one function, one kinetic chain all the way up, you'll get the body down. Because it's like everything has to fit for a purpose outside of itself, right? No muscle is just for the purpose of doing this motion. It just doesn't
Right.
work like that.
Right.
The whole thing works as a whole.
Right.
So
I follow the same like mind map
It is.
as you.
I love that. Let's see. Do you want to just try the squat again? See how you
Yeah, sure. Jesus.
feel? You're like, oh my god. Again,
dude, that last one hella unlocked.
that one was like
It's right here.
Because what it'll do, it'll take the pressure off. Then your, I think it's called your medial psoas.
I'm not sure.
I believe your medial psoas. And then it'll put a little bit more of your hip flexors. So, alright. Nice. Put your feet a little bit more aside from you, like inwardly turn them. There you go.
I guess turn your feet out or turn it in is probably perfect terminology, at least for me.
That looks much better, bro. Knees pretty much over ankles. You can try to get your knees a little bit further apart when you squat. There you go. Nice. Yeah. You'll just focus on firing those muscles because you want it to be stable on both sides, right? Like I was saying before, don't rest on the ligaments in there. That's a bad habit, right? You want to rest on the muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
You
sense.
want to rest on the muscles.
Well, I mean,
and when
equal
we rest-
distribution. Like I always say, right? Equal distribution of the spine, equal distribution. Like if we were doing a curl,
Mhm.
this is what equal distribution. We're like, I'm using only muscle right now, right? Or you can think about it like if you had to slow down the movement completely, you couldn't rely on a joint. The joint is only made to be stable. You can only hold it if you're skipping and you're like, and you're like trying to pump out a set. If you're trying to hold it for a time, you won't be able to use your joint or your ligament. So like if I'm curling this, the ankle's back, but You get the idea, right? My elbow has to come underneath,
Mhm.
pretty much using more muscle. But if I were to try to like pinch it to my side or something like that, exercise becomes infinitely easier, right? But it's no longer being used. Then the bicep, the brachialis, all of those tricep muscles, the stabilizers in the shoulders, the frontal that connects to the bicep, none of them are being used.
Okay.
But think of that combined applied to your feet and your knee. If you do not outwardly turn your knee, then your calf won't be able to fire on the other side, your hamstring won't be able to pull properly, and your hips will be tight and close. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's great. That's amazing. So
Does it make sense though?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Still, I think
It's a habit.
It will take practice.
So do you want to know why it's so hard to break that habit?
Why?
Okay, so do you know remember when we were in like junior high, when we were first benching? It's like super shaky.
Heck yeah.
And then over a couple months, it starts getting straighter and straighter, and then it feels like that path is like ingrained in your brain. Like you'll never deviate from that path, right? After a certain point. Because I felt that way because I kept going with it. But you know what I mean? Like you at least felt it to a certain extent, and then you take a month off and then you shake again, right?
Yeah.
What that is your nervous system building motor engrams. Right? Your nervous system learns that pattern and it like builds it into its circuitry. So it's almost like a button that it can press on command and it function.
Yeah.
And then what happens for football players is, right, they practice the deadlift, so then when they go for a tackle, they automatically know the cue to use their hips and they don't try to, like, low back the motherfucker or something like that, right? They know that pattern and they introduce athletic movement. So we want to have you do the same thing, but the problem is, if you build a faulty recruitment pattern like that, where, say, you bench out with your elbows out, you have just a bad pattern like that developed, then what you're going to have happen is, it takes like 10 times as long, bro. Like science has literally shown that it takes like 10 times as long to reverse a faulty recruitment pattern than it is to build a new one.
Lovely.
So, I mean, you gotta
Do what you want.
this is your body, bro. You gotta work
Do
with
what
it.
you want with that information.
Exactly. I'll keep sitting on your head like that.
That's fine.
But just keep thinking about it, man. Yeah, you just gotta try to build it into your like habits as much as possible.
So whenever I squat, my knee is supposed to come out directly,
Over your ankles.
and this is.
This is stable on this side, and there's other stabilizers that are coming on this side, but in the general sense, your kneecap should be extended over this line right here, your big toe and your middle toe. Make sense?
Yeah. That's a lot of relearning to do. That's gonna, because I'm pretty sure I have just overcompensated muscles on
You know what you can do, bro? A little bit of yoga actually goes a really long way, because you can isolate those muscles, like essentially what we were doing there. But for that, what you could do is a cross hack squat. I'm gonna get the frame. Sure. Yeah. Show them what I'm talking about. One yoga move, obviously warriors and stuff like that, incorporate the split leg stance. So you can do something where with warrior 3 already will do it, right? Because you're forced to do that type of motion and stabilize over the ankle.
Wow.
Warrior 1 will do it as well, I believe. What was thinking cross leg, but particularly one stretch that'd be very resourceful was the cross hack squat. This thing's slippery, so don't slip.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't like it. So sorry. No, you're good. Right. This guy right here. It's literally what you're doing, but you're just trying to really focus on that movement.
Oh, I'm familiar with this one. I am familiar with this. We do this as part of like our stretching routine.
Yeah.
Where, oh, big God, yeah, I must have been.
Yeah, you don't do all that, bro.
On this
I'll die.
Hobby Lobby felt. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
It is Hobby Lobby.
Is it really?
No, it's a Home Depot belt. It needs to be taken down and then I think it'll look decent. But right now it's terrible. For functionality purposes.
That's fine. It does look good though, I agree with it.
Right? I thought I threw a pump color.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, okay.
So the way we normally go down is, that's fine. You see what that's doing is you're again resting all that point. Well, see, that's why you have this issue, bro. This is in the return now. So now you have a ton of flexibility in your hips, but these muscles are critical. And what's happening is you're only putting all your weight on this interior part of your knee when you stretch like that. Make sense?
So what's the corrected?
Okay, so put your hands down, first of all, flat. Now go to that one side.
So this one?
Yeah. Bend in that one knee. There you go. Feel that? You
first of all, you have flexible hips, you can even get more access out of them anyway. Second, see how your arch is back. What the fuck? And you can actually even put your this arm on this side. There you go. You can put both arms in front of you. Yeah, there you go. You can run on your elbows and get even more leverage. Yep. Oh. See how it's different? This. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever do that before? Never tried that?
Not where it looks like that.
Well, see, bro, think about it like this. If you really want maximum flexibility for dancing, you gotta be flexible everywhere. Otherwise, one side's gonna give out. You're gonna have that instability of feeling like you're gonna fall over from it.
Yeah.
Right? Because one side's tight and one side's flexible.
Yeah.
One side's ready to go, one side's like going to sleep. Alright? Try the other side. You might find that you have a different set of issues on the other side.
Yeah. This one typically has a weaker part.
Make it arch for you.
I'm gonna try. I am mentally not there. But yeah.
Try not to put too much pressure on the inside of that over here. Don't try to put it all there. And then look at your hip. There you go. Look at your hips. Yeah, you flex. There you go. Nice.
Oof, this is all inactivated. Like I can't move it. And I've tried like muscle connecting to like see which parts will contract, and I can never get this to go up higher.
A little bit of acupressure. I can show you if you want.
Really? Acupressure.
Acupressure. You could wake up the muscles quite a bit.
I've tried. I have not tried that. I have only ever tried TENS. Those are massage pads, things that you can electrocute
Oh, yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah.
And I kept them like trying
Try to turn it on there.
Yes. But I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, I'm literally bored in the summer. Huh?
You have to turn it on for you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, like I would love.
Well, I mean, the foam rolling is going to help tremendously. So I think that's first
Really?
why you got a little bit of arch out of it today. I'll be honest with you. That's what I would do pretty soon. If you want to get so essentially the technique, if you think you have some dead muscles, if you think you have some muscles that aren't firing, this was taught to me by my seafood in college. Actually, he saw that I had some nerve damage in my upper chest, and he was like, "You got some." Well, something on something. And I was like, yeah, I do have a bunch of shoulder issues. And he was like, do you know what? I was like, what? And then he just did it, and I was like, oh. And afterwards, I was like, oh, no way. And, and then we talked, because he's a trainer and I'm a trainer, and I was like, bro, he was like, look into it. And I was like, after that, I did so obsessed. So, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, but the general idea of turning on the muscles that you find that especially if you lift a lot, guys. If you find like you hammer chest or hammer biceps, you really want to make sure you do this. And that's just you just don't want to have one part of the muscle really tight to the joint. So essentially, if I was going to try to stretch out my bicep, but for you, the bicep, that muscle is really small, hard to see short. My biceps easy and on the surface. So I'm just going to do it for example. So imagine this is the arch of this foot. We're going to massage it here, where it connects to the first point. Yeah. Right, all the way up to the bicep here, and then here too. You'll find that one of the two might have just a little bit of tightness, and it'll like tense up for you. And once you feel it tense up, just feel around in there a little bit, and then you should feel those muscles start to fire. Really, yeah. So, do you want to try it on your foot?
Let's try that.
On your hips, and lay down. What's that? Go down and lay on your hips here. You can come forward. Left, correct?
Yes.
Let's see it. Now, I'm by no means a physical therapist, guys, but I am just a guy on the internet who was learning some stuff. Before I was a personal trainer, too, I have learned everything I pretty much know today on the internet. So I invite you guys to do the same. Always do your own research. Don't come dogmatic, at least, and don't be afraid to defend it. But this is so flat feet. If you ever want to know what you're going through and you want to find exercises quickly for your specific dysfunction, flat feet. Find myriad of issues or myriad of solutions. Foam rollers and frozen water bottles on the bottom of your feet, roll those water peppers out, tennis balls, that should be your best friend. Yeah, that'll help a lot. There's a couple of extra exercises that can help you today as well. First, let's try to turn up. the main, you find like front to back of the tightness?
The main issue is, I only notice because it's not symmetrical between the two, which is this side, this muscle right here, it's not, it doesn't have that same line connected through. I'm not able to, essentially, if this joint was here, I couldn't do that with this one. See, like this one, I could
Oh, I
try to
understand.
stretch that one out, but this one, there's
Just
just
like
some,
move it this way, you can't.
yeah,
That's what you're trying to say.
exactly.
Okay, so a couple of things for you, bro. Number one, like you're a dancer, right? So it's, you have a lot of impact. You can see that, right? And when you turn, because what's happening now is your waist is leaning up from here, but these are callous. Like all on the outside here. This is the part that you land on something all the time, right? And this is when you're stretching, you're landing on this as well. So the first thing is to just try to fix that, opening up your toes. See, what you have now is because of that landing, this toe's running over, right? Instead of being straight. So just messing with this toe, you find that you have some. Yeah, right? It turned on already for me. Did you feel that? That already will start to wake up a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's going back that I felt it.
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
That's so odd.
Do you want to actually open it up?
I feel like I'm.
Do you want to see something crazy?
Sure.
Go on. You're gonna feel like crazy when you stand up. All right, move towards me more. I'm gonna take your feet in my hands. Go. Okay. And now when I say, I want you to think about moving your toes inside, right? Like the way that you normally move your toes.
Okay.
All right. And I want to put my knees here so there's something to rest on, just so it's not harsh. And I want you to start about squeezing your toes like we were talking about.
The same way, just do that, right?
Yep. This one a little bit more. Nice, nice, more. That's right, relax. Relax, let me stretch. Alright, squeeze again. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. This seems a lot stronger. Good. Squeeze, 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 relax. Yes. Alright, you stand up. Whoa. You feel?
Feel odd.
Yeah. You stand up?
That's odd.
Yeah.
What?
Well, you're standing a little bit straighter already, I'll tell you that. Your toes seem to have some more spread. They're not like crunched on top of each other. You're trying to go back right now.
Yeah,
A little bit.
I feel it. I'm like trying to force it back.
Spread your toes if you can. There you go. Think about spreading your toes all day long. A great exercise for you, actually. Anybody that has this type of inhibition in their feet, try to think about creating or just picking something up with your feet. Like when you get out of the shower every morning, put your towel on the ground, pick it up 5 times. Turn those muscles in your feet on. You know what I mean?
Wow, yeah. These are muscles that I actually don't remember activating for a long time. But this one feels
Maybe I'm just being honest.
Interesting. You might find that one's strong, but one's more experienced. So your injured one, your weaker one, picked it up quite easily.
yeah.
And you wanted your stronger one to have a hard time. So that's interesting. So see what that tells you is this one's become dumb. This one lifted too much load for too long. This one's like fresh because it doesn't do anything. So you have
That's
a little bit of
very
learning
interesting. That's very interesting.
God damn. I feel like now maybe is this just like structural? Maybe it's either it's structural or it's still just there's something here that's tight.
No, bro, it's this. It's time. Like I say always, our bodies take on the predispositions of others. So whatever you spend the most time doing, it's going to take that over time. If you stop wearing dancing shoes, and like let your toes chill out every day for a year, I promise you already it's looking a little bit more normal compared to this one, right?
Yeah.
Right? So just think about that all the time. Well, I think just thinking about it, you don't have to stop any of the other activities you enjoy doing. Just considering it in your daily lifestyle in the next couple of weeks will make a tremendous difference.
Absolutely. You got it, man.
That sounds like a good place to stop. We've been talking for like an hour.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Dunsky's.
Yeah. Well, I normally sweat a lot, but this was hella fun. I think the two most favorite are that stretch you did here, and then the one where we were on the wall and it was getting that open up and lock. That because that has always been very tough for me. That's
I'm glad we can help. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell me what videos I should make in the future. And thank you for being my guest.
Dude, it's amazing.
Peace.
I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Leave a like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you soon.